Arsenal are on fire after smashing 2 goals past West Ham to overcome last year's Emirates bogey team. The title race just got a whole lot more interesting. So from a Martin Zubimendi masterclass to the Victor Gyökeres dilemma, Mikel Arteta's tactical domination, and a huge twist in the title race. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bas14 and welcome back to your boys channel after another fantastic, stupendous victory against a team that was a bogey team last year, but this year put to one side. As per, my friends, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy it and subscribe to the channel if you are new, helping your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with the first thing, and that is Arteta's tactical domination. On Mikel Arteta's 300th game as Arsenal manager, against a West Ham side that had won at the Emirates in back-to-back years, Arsenal weren't just looking for a victory, they were trying to overcome a bogey team, with even Bukayo Saka confirming after the game. Thierry Henry messaged me this morning to remind me that we lost the last 2 games to West Ham at home. He is always pushing me. I'm really happy to have my name with his records, scoring on my 200th Premier League appearance. And Mikel Arteta certainly knew the mission. Against a West Ham team that had come to the Emirates in previous year, parked the bus and completely nullified us, starting a midfield three of Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard and Eberechi Eze, the plan was to go out there and dominate. And that is exactly what we did. Arsenal cruising into a comfortable 2-0 victory, with an XG of 3.15 to West Ham's 0.49. A deeper look into the stats showed that Arsenal were even more dominant, with nearly 70% ball possession, 4 massive chances created, nullifying West Ham to not a single shot on target all game. This was a slow and methodical hammering, toying with West Ham playing around the back, but also with players that have the ability to find incisive passes to break through the lines. A mid-block that had come to the Emirates in previous years and causes problems. Today Arsenal made look like light work. And a massive part behind that is the fact that Arsenal now have players making runs in behind. Take for example that first Arsenal goal. It comes from a lovely run from Eze in behind. Zubimendi finds him, a great save from Areola, but Rice is there to pick up the pieces. You then even think about Eze's miss, worth an XG of 0.76, and once again it comes from players making runs in behind, sly little movements that teams just simply cannot respond to. The entire goal of Mikel Arteta this year has been trying to find a balance. Handbrake on or handbrake off. Arsenal are always going to be a control-based team, but to have the best defensive Premier League record in terms of goals conceded per match, while also now keeping 4 clean sheets, 10 games played in all competitions and only 3 goals conceded, a Szoboszlai wonder free kick, a Walter Mardy set piece, and an Erling Haaland counter-attack. Defensively, Arsenal are unbreakable, not only keeping the ball as much as possible, but even in that defensive third, players that know how to defend and where to be. But also going forwards, Arsenal are currently second for goals per matches, having now scored a total of 14 goals, the highest in the league alongside Man City. Mikel Arteta is finding more and more of that balance, with the defence there to provide Arsenal a backbone and the firepower to eventually break teams down. The entire ambition is trying to make Arsenal the most complete team, because we already have one of the most complete right backs, as Jurrien Timber dropped another 7.6 SOFA score rating, with 1 clearance, 2 interceptions and 6 tackles, 8 of 12 ground balls won, as well as 43 accurate passes, 1 key pass and 1 penalty. Timber not only won more duels and made more tackles than any other Arsenal player today, but can we talk about the way that he took the touch for the Arsenal penalty, following a lovely ball from Martin Zubimendi. Timber's composure in the final third and technical security is a further example of a complete fullback that Arsenal currently have, and one that, as Mikel Arteta confirms, we 100% want him to stay with us. When you talk about a total player, he has almost every quality that you want from a defender. Moving on to the second thing, and that is Saka's insane numbers. On the Star Boys' 200th Premier League appearance for Arsenal, the stats and numbers show a player that turned up, dropping an 8.4 SOFA score rating on his first Emirates League start back, with 1 goal scored from next year of 0.84, 1 shot on target and 1 off target, as well as 1 big chance created, scoring a penalty placed to perfection. But it did get your boy wondering. After reports confirmed at the start of the season that Victor Gyökeres will be Arsenal's official penalty taker, ahead of Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard, you even had Mikel Arteta confirm that Gyökeres is Arsenal's best penalty taker before the season. But for Saka to step up and score that penalty, I think the main reason behind that was the fact that he was so close to a record, having now got 100 Premier League goal contributions on his 200th Arsenal Premier League appearance, 55 goals scored, 45 assists at just 24 years of age. He becomes the 7th youngest player in Premier League history to reach 100 goal involvements, behind only Lukaku, Ronaldo, Fabregas, Fowler, Rooney and Owen, players that were fantastic and some even legends, and not a single one that started a left back. For Bukayo Saka to be ahead of Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, he also now enters Arsenal's top 10 goal scorers in Premier League history, only 5 behind Alexis Sanchez. When it comes to longevity and consistency, Bukayo Saka has everything that it takes to become one of Arsenal's all-time Premier League great. Of course, trophies are going to play a part, and getting a Premier League title is going to help massively, But after some of the Arsenal spent £200 million on brand new attacker, this game was also a bit of a reminder. The star boy is still our franchise player. And if he wants to take his penalties, we're going to give it to him. Saying after the game, we know the quality that we have at the top end of the pitch, the players that are starting, and the players that are coming on. You have seen the impact that everybody has made. We know if we keep a clean sheet, it's more likely that we win the game. Moving on to the third thing, Arsenal's midfield metronome. After 30 minutes into the game and Martin Odegaard going off injured, enter the scene Martin Zubimendi, and you know what? He absolutely changed the game, dropping a 7.8 SoFA score rating, with a heat map showing he was all across the field. 68 passes completed and 1 key pass, 5 out of 5 accurate long balls, but also 5 of 6 ground balls won, 3 clearances and 5 tackles. Not only the complete performance, but also another world-class example of tempo setting. Zubimendi is the player that as soon as he arrives onto the field, dictates the pace straight away, knowing how to find incisive passes going forward, as well as being so composed whenever pressed. We've seen all types of different profiles play as a number 6 for Arsenal over the last 10 years. But it looks like we finally now have a natural metronome, a midfielder not only complete defensively, but going forwards and helping Arsenal constantly take and constantly find probing passes. As we saw for the pass to Urian Timber leading to the Arsenal penalty, Zubimendi has that in his arsenal, as well as sharing a 90% aerial success rate, with 6'4" Virgil van Dijk this season. His timing of his jump is fantastic, likewise his ability to commit for tackles. We are seeing a player of high game intelligence. Having seen the profile of Man City and Rodri, we know that Mikel Arteta loves his control, and Zubimendi takes that to another level. As summed up perfectly by the hand of Arsenal, Martin Zubimendi changed his entire game. He makes it look so easy. You can see exactly why Madrid, Liverpool and Pep were begging for it. But I also want to give flowers to a different Arsenal midfielder, Declan Rice, with another joke of a performance. Starting the game as a number 6 and looking class, then moving into a number 8, and also looking just as good, scoring against his former club once again, and staring down the West Ham away end. To be booing your former captain who helped you win a European trophy, you man deserved a bit of karma, and you know what, you got it. As Rice had a masterclass, dropping a 7.8 SoFA score rating, 1 goal scored, 55 accurate passes, 3 key passes and 1 big chance created. He now has 17 goals for Arsenal, 2 more than he managed his entire West Ham career, as well as 21 Arsenal assists, in 132 games fewer. But taken off in the game via an injury holding his back, as Mikel Arteta confirmed after, he is not alright because he asked me to come off. He had pain in his back and he had to come off. And that's very unusual for Declan. Fingers crossed it's nothing serious. Because in a game where the Declan Rice cycle continued, good game after good game, only Bukayo Saka with 11 has been directly involved in more Premier League goals at the Emirates Stadium since the start of last season than Declan Rice with 9. Moving on to the fourth thing, and that is the Gyökeres dilemma. Another game for the Arsenal striker without a goal and another 5.9 SoFA score rating. With an XG of 0.63, 1 shot on target, 1 off target, and 2 big chances missed. In previous game, your boy's been quick to praise his hold-up ability, because it definitely was getting cleaner. But in this game, I saw a player that at times was a bit too desperate. A goal scorer in desperate need to smash that ball into the back of the net. Whether it was the fact that Arsenal were firing the ball into the box and Gyökeres was slightly ahead of it, what I see is a player that still has a lot of quality, still is one of our most dangerous attackers going forwards, but is also lacking just a little bit of composure. Trying to make a point and trying to score an Arsenal goal, but having now dropped 3 consecutive red SoFA score ratings. The Newcastle game, we know the context behind it, but in this game Gyökeres was losing his balance way too often, leaning into centre backs and not making the most of his body. When you sign a striker for £55 million and you see the goal record, there was of course going to be a lot of excitement straight away. But rather than overanalyzing his current game, I'm more inclined to ask a question. For an Arsenal team that we knew needed a striker, a player that has the innate desire to put that ball into the back of the net, you think about the type of chance that we're creating, it requires a striker to be a good one-touch finisher. But in the case of Gyökeres right now, what I am seeing, a striker at times taking too many touches, or unable to read the pass leading into the box. I have no doubts that Gyökeres will improve and he will definitely score goals. But I do wonder what is going to be his ceiling. Can he be Arsenal's Erling Haaland? I'll leave that for you guys to decide down below in the comments. But for a player that simply doesn't give up, but one thing that I definitely can't fault is his work rate. But after 3 goals in his first 4 Arsenal games, he is now 6 games without an Arsenal goal. Gabriel Jesus or Kai Havertz both are injured. I do wonder that when those 2 players return, in particular Kai Havertz, is Mikel Arteta going to trust Victor Gyökeres to get his goals, or is he going to turn to his more tried and trusted option? Let me know your thoughts as ever down below in the comments. What do you currently make of the Victor Gyökeres situation? Moving on to the 5th thing though, and as injuries, no problem. Eberechi, Eze, Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard all starting together, but after just 30 minutes, the captain was off the field injured again, having now been forced off with the injury before half-time in 3 consecutive Premier League home matches. This time it wasn't a shoulder, of course it was his knee, and it's confirmed by Mikel Arteta after the game. Odegaard had a brace on his knee and it's not positive, after sustaining another injury, and it just makes me irk inside. Can't we just get a little bit of luck? It may have not been a hamstring injury, but it was still so unlucky. An innocuous clash of knees with Somerville, but at the same time we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We pray for the best for the Arsenal captain to be available as soon as possible, but to still have the ability to bring on Zubimendi, Lewis Kelly, Nwaneri Merino and Martinelli. I wonder if Mikel Arteta will still turn for the 2 attacking midfield formation and turn to a certain Ethan Nwaneri, dropping a 7.1 rating after coming off the bench, playing in the Martin Odegaard role, with 11 touches, 7 accurate passes and 1 successful dribble. A midfield three that profile-wise Arsenal fans have been asking for a very long time, 2 attacking number 10s playing in front of a defensive number 6. But for me it depends on the type of game that Arsenal have. With the likes of Crystal Palace and Fulham both coming up, teams that will be defensive and try to be compact, the fact that we now have the option and Mikel Arteta has the trust, don't be surprised if you see Nwaneri and Eze start together in midfield, because after years of use of that dreaded mid-block stopping Arsenal time and time again, today the task was very simple: collect the 3 points and move on to the next game, as Arsenal have now made it 8 wins out of 10 to start the season. The only points dropped to Man City and Liverpool. You focus on the last 2 league games of Newcastle away and West Ham at home, games that Arsenal lost last season, to have now got 6 points out of 6. It's another very positive sign going forward. Another defensive block arrived to the Emirates Stadium, and yet again another defensive block was broken down. Then you had the drama at Stamford Bridge, as Liverpool lost for the 3rd consecutive time, with Esteval smashing in a last-minute winner, in a game that Chelsea had a 1.13 XG and Liverpool's 2.08, despite losing both of the centre-backs to injury, moving Reece James to centre-back. From Isak to Salah to Wirtz, Liverpool could not break Chelsea down, leaving Arsenal top of the table going into the international break. A simply sensational scene, now 1 point ahead of Liverpool with a far better goal difference. For the first time since October 2024, Liverpool have ended a match week not top of the Premier League table. For Arsenal fans, let's just say things are looking good. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of the social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. We've smashed the Hammers out of the park, we've won at the Emirates Stadium, we've overcome a bogey team, but of course now the focus on to the next game because games are coming thick and fast, my friends. I'll see you next time, take care, and in a bit.